Close your eyes for just 3 seconds. Imagine you're standing in the candy aisle of a supermarket. Hundreds of chocolate bars surround you. Your hand slowly reaches toward the shelf, but then it stops. Not because you can't afford one, not because there aren't enough choices, but because two chocolate bars are silently challenging each other. One tells you to have a break, the other promises the ultimate crunch. One has been snapped apart billions of times across the world. The other built its reputation around a sound people recognize before they even taste it. So here's the real question. If both are made of chocolate, if both are crispy, if both have loyal fans, why has this rivalry lasted for decades? Because this isn't just about chocolate, it's about two completely different ideas competing inside your brain. One sells a feeling, the other sells an experience. Today, we're uncovering the hidden battle, KitKat versus Crunch, and by the end of this video, you'll probably never look at these two chocolate bars the same way again. Here's something most people never think about when you buy a chocolate bar. Do you actually choose it? Or did the brand convince you long before you walked into the store? Think about it. You don't read ingredients every time. You don't compare calories. Most people don't even compare prices. Within seconds, their hand reaches for the same wrapper they've reached for hundreds of times before. That's not luck, that's psychology. Companies spend decades making sure your brain recognizes their product before your eyes even focus on it. And no matter how different they seem, KitKat and Crunch have mastered that game in completely different ways. Let's begin with KitKat. Long before it became one of the world's most recognized, not a vacation, not a holiday, just a small pause in the middle of a busy day. Imagine factory workers decades ago, long shifts, endless noise, constant pressure. Everyone looked forward to one thing: break time. That tiny moment when work stopped and life slowed down. KitKat didn't simply sell chocolate, it became part of that moment. Its famous slogan, "Have a break, have a KitKat," isn't really talking about candy. It's talking about permission. Permission to stop, permission to breathe, permission to enjoy 60 peaceful seconds before life starts moving again. That's why people remember it, not because it's clever. Because it connects with a feeling everyone understands. Now compare that to Crunch. Crunch entered the market with a completely different mission. Instead of selling relaxation, it sold excitement. Its biggest weapon wasn't caramel. It wasn't fancy ingredients, it wasn't luxury, it was sound. Think about the first bite. Before your brain even processes the flavor, you hear it. Crunch. That sound creates satisfaction before the taste even arrives. Scientists have actually discovered something fascinating. The sounds we hear while eating affect how delicious food feels. A louder crunch often makes food seem fresher, more exciting, even more satisfying without realizing it. Your ears are helping your tongue decide what tastes good. Crunch built its identity around that idea decades before most people ever thought about food psychology. Now here's where things become really interesting. Take both chocolate bars out of their wrappers, place them on a table. Even before tasting them, you notice something. KitKat looks organized, perfectly divided into fingers, almost inviting you to share or break apart slowly. Everything about its design says, take your time. Crunch looks completely different. One solid bar, no need. Just pick it up and bite. That tiny design choice changes how people experience the chocolate. One encourages patience, the other encourages impulse. One feels social, the other feels personal. And neither company made those decisions by accident. But then something happened, something neither brand expected. People stopped buying chocolate only because they were hungry. Chocolate became emotional, a reward after work, a celebration after success, comfort after a bad day, a companion during late-night movies. Suddenly, the product wasn't changing. The customer's reason for buying it was. That forced every chocolate company to evolve. KitKat doubled down on comfort. Crunch doubled down on excitement. Two completely different directions, both incredibly successful. Now let's talk about the first bite, because this is where opinions become wars. Take a bite of KitKat. The first thing you notice isn't the chocolate, it's the layers. Thin, crispy, light. Each wafer breaks neatly. Every bite feels controlled, predictable, almost elegant. Now switch to Crunch immediately. Everything changes. Instead of delicate wafers, tiny crisped rice explodes across your mouth. The texture is louder, sharper, more playful. It's less about precision and more about energy. neither one is wrong. They're simply chasing different emotions. KitKat wants you to slow down. Crunch wants to wake up your senses. So here's the mystery: if both bars have found their own identity, if millions of people love both, why does one dominate in so many countries, while the other remains a favorite mostly in North America? The answer has nothing to do with chocolate, nothing to do with price, and almost nothing to do with taste. It comes down to one invisible strategy, a strategy so powerful that it quietly turned one candy bar into a global icon. And once you see that strategy, you'll understand why this rivalry was never fought with chocolate alone. Because the biggest battle between Kit Kat and Crunch was never fought inside the chocolate, it was fought inside your mind. Imagine two children walking into a grocery store. One immediately grabs Kit Kat, the other reaches for Crunch. Neither child has studied ingredients. Neither has compared nutrition. So why did they choose differently? Because every commercial, every package, every memory, every tiny experience they've ever had has been quietly shaping that decision for years. That's the power of branding, and it's far stronger than most people realize. Number one sells a ritual, the other sells a sensation. Here's something fascinating: before people even eat Kit Kat, they do something almost automatically: they snap it. That simple action has become part of the product itself. Breaking a Kit Kat isn't necessary, you could eat it whole, but millions of people don't. Why? Because the brand turned eating chocolate into a ritual. The sound, the clean break, the shared pieces, it all creates anticipation. And anticipation makes experiences feel more enjoyable. Now look at Crunch. There's no ritual, no snapping, no preparation. You unwrap it, take one bite, and instantly hear that satisfying crunch. Crunch doesn't ask you to slow down, it rewards impulse. One creates anticipation, the other delivers immediate satisfaction, and that single difference changes how people remember each chocolate bar. Number the global champion versus the local favorite. Now let's zoom out. Walk into stores across Europe, Asia, Australia, the Middle East, even parts of Africa. There's a good chance you'll find Kit Kat. Over the years, it expanded far beyond a single chocolate bar. Orange, mint, cookies, and cream, every country seemed to get its own twist. People didn't just collect Kit Kat, they hunted for new flavors. That strategy kept the brand exciting year after year. Crunch chose a different path. Instead of constantly reinventing itself around the world, it stayed focused on delivering the same familiar crunchy experience, especially in North America. That consistency built loyalty. But it also meant fewer global moments that captured attention. Neither strategy was wrong. One chased worldwide expansion, the other protected a familiar identity. Number which one feels more premium? This is an interesting question. Ask someone to unwrap both bars without showing the wrappers. Many people describe Kit Kat as cleaner, more balanced, almost elegant. The thin wafers create neat layers, each piece feels carefully designed. Crunch has a completely different personality. It's louder, bolder, less refined, more playful. It isn't trying to feel luxurious, it's trying to be fun. And that's exactly why so many people love it. Sometimes people don't want elegance. Sometimes they just want chocolate that makes them smile. Number the marketing lesson hidden in plain sight. Here's where this rivalry becomes bigger than candy. Imagine you're starting a business. Would you rather create one product for everyone, or one product with a crystal clear identity? Kit Kat chose one message: take a break. Simple, memorable, timeless. Crunch chose another: feel the crunch. Different message, different emotion. Both worked because neither tried to copy the other. That's a lesson many companies still fail to understand. Success doesn't always come from being better. Sometimes it comes from being different. So, which one tastes better? This is the question everyone expects, but there's no universal answer. If you enjoy light wafers and a smoother chocolate experience, Kit Kat will probably win. If you love crisped rice, a louder bite, and extra texture, Crunch may be your favorite. That's why this rivalry has survived for generations. Neither chocolate bar defeats the other. They simply satisfy different cravings. The final verdict. After exploring their history, their marketing, their psychology, and the way they make people feel, one thing becomes clear. This battle was never about choosing the best chocolate bar. It was about understanding why two products with similar ingredients can create completely different experiences. KitKat became more than a snack, it became a break. Crunch became more than chocolate, it became a sensation. And that's why both continue to survive in one of the most competitive industries on Earth. Number final thought: the next time you're standing in front of a candy shelf, don't ask yourself which chocolate is better, ask yourself, what kind of moment am I looking for? If you need a quiet pause in a busy day, a Kit Kat might be exactly what you're craving. If you want a bold bite that wakes up your senses, Crunch is ready, because sometimes the greatest rivalries aren't decided by ingredients, or price, or even popularity. They're decided by something much more powerful: the way they make you feel. So, Team Kit Kat or Team Crunch, the choice has always been yours, but now, you know the story hidden behind every bite.